Welcome to the MotUS Edge, where we celebrate business, primarily youth sports facility management, leadership, and motivation. Co-hosted by Stacy Rowe, Cole Stott, Kevin Brubaker, and Casey Jones. We are here to fill your cup with knowledge, laughter, affirmations, and comfort knowing that you're not alone. You can and will succeed with the MotUS Edge.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the MotUS Edge, where we talk about leadership, motivation, and all things cheerleading and dance biz. I am Stacy Rowe, here with my favorite co-host, Casey Jones, and our guest today is Alex Csiernik. She is the owner of JPAC Radiance All-Stars. Welcome, Alex. We're so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me join you today.
Hold on. Fun fact. Alex and I were talking before this. I mean, we did our own podcast before this.
I was going to say, you're not allowed to talk beforehand, Casey.
But Alex is married to Alex. So Alex's husband is named Alex, which I think is just really cool. You know, that's just what a fun fact there. And I'm sure
Alex and Alex.
Yeah. And she was telling me that her husband helps out a lot in the gym. Like, he's a trainer. He also does all types of things in the gym. But, I'm sure that's confusing from time to time when people are yelling for Alex.
He's our music guy on competition day because, you know, when he just gets you, he knows when I look at him what I need. So the kids call him Mr. Alex. They call him Alex's husband. Lots of different names, but he's always involved. So it's fun. The kids think it's funny. The parents got to think it's funny. So it's kind of been our thing.
He is Alexander, right?
Yes.
And are you Alexandra? What is your full name? Or is it just
Alexandra?
Alex?
Yeah,
Alexandra.
but we both only go by Alex. So.
Right. That's so funny though. Alexandra and Alexander. Oh my goodness.
Very cool. Very cool. I thought my good friends and gym owners, Carrie and Carrie, were the only two gym owners I knew with the same name, but we have discovered another. So that's a pretty cool fact.
I've never known any couples with the same name. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Awesome thing. So you are a gym owner is it Iowa? Indiana. I knew it was an I state. Why did I say Iowa? What is wrong with me today? Indiana. So when did you start your business?
So in August of 2020, during COVID, I reached out to J.C. Phelps Athletic Center, and I cold called and sent an email and said, hey, this is my dream. This is my history. This is what I've done in cheerleading. Owning my own program is my ultimate goal. And they said, okay, come on in. Let's have a meeting. And we went in. We had a meeting. I talked a lot for 2.5 hours, and they said, all right, let's try it. So at that time, I took over the rec tumbling classes at the facility. And then about 2 months later, I put a call out. And from those rec tumbling classes that I was coaching, 18 kids were interested in trying out cheerleading. And it was late in the season. It was September, October by the time we started the process. So from those 18 kids, none of them had ever cheered before. They were true rec classes, and they ranged from mini age through junior age kiddos. And from those kids, we created a mini prep team and a junior 2 team.
Nice.
Wow.
So true startup. And also, I mean, pretty amazing that you did that, in the height of COVID, and we often talk about that, chaos can also breed opportunity, and that's a cool thing of a lot of things were shutting down and closing up, and you were starting. So, kind of brave of you to start at that time, but also really cool to talk to someone that's done a modern day startup. Stacy and I have been doing this a long time, but we talk often about how it's so different now. Starting a gym and starting a business now is far different, with many different challenges than we faced, back in the dinosaur ages, or at least me. So
definitely just Casey in the dinosaur ages. No, I'm a little bit younger. I'm a little bit younger for sure. But yeah, no, it is very cool. And I feel like you are still, from what I from what I know about you, you are extremely passionate and very much involved, and you love it. And you are running the gym or running the program, coaching the teams, like you are doing all the things. So I was really excited to kind of pick your brain on that perspective and what that looks like for you and kind of how that is working for you. Because I know we have so many gym owners out there that are still doing that. A lot of the people that we talk to are like, hey, we're here and we're trying to grow and get to a place where we don't have to do all the things ourselves, help us, figure that out. But I also think, in your case, Alex, right now, today, like that's exactly where you want to be. It seems like, yeah.
Exactly. I want to coach. I want to know every single kid. I want to know every single parent. I want to know what's going on in their lives. I think that the beauty of our program is as we've grown year to year, our culture grew. Obviously, the first handful of years, you're still establishing it and what you're hoping that it's going to be and then actively working towards it. But the past 3 years, when we've been more established, we've grown about by 50% each year the past 3 seasons. And I think the beautiful thing about it is our culture has gotten stronger instead of weaker because we care. We want to do all the things. I want to care about everything. I want to know if the kids are struggling outside of cheerleading. So that's something that obviously becomes a challenge as you grow, but I just have a phenomenal staff that wants to do that alongside me. So every coach touches every team. We all coach our own tumbling classes. We run our own tumbling programs, jumps, conditioning, flexibility. So it's cyclical where we're all building from within our program.
I think that's one of the things that, I talk to gym owners all the time and they're like, do you have your all-star coaches teaching tumbling classes or do you not? Do you require them? Do you make them? And I think it varies a lot from gym to gym, but I have always had the mindset and the philosophy, and even it changes even some in our own premier gyms, but I've always had the mindset and the philosophy that the tumbling classes are kind of the training ground and the recruitment area, if you will. So if you're an all-star coach and you want your program to grow or you want your team to be full, like you get those kids from the tumbling classes. So how do you do that without building relationships with those kids and getting involved? You've got to have, you don't have to teach every class, but you got to teach a few. You want to be, that's always been my mentality and trying to teach our coaches that like, hey, that's where you're recruiting from. So you want to have some active participation. So without a doubt, I am sure that is where a lot of your growth comes from because of that involvement. And it'll change. That will change over time, as you grow. But right now, I mean, that's
especially
if
you keep growing 50% every year, which is amazing. That's awesome to hear. I think back to the early days of Stingrays, and that was part of the requirements. Like if you worked there, you had to be involved in every aspect of the business outside of like the administrative piece and the front desk. We always kind of kept that separate and had our own front desk staff. But literally, if you wanted to coach teams, then you had to teach camps, you had to teach tumbling, you had to do all. That has changed over the years, but just like Stacy said, that was imperative to our growth early on because, you had to understand that was a big part of coaching is being able to, create the tumbling, create the execution, all those things, and no one was responsible for it other than yourself, and obviously your co-coaches. So.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at is we are creating what we can. Like we want each athlete to be able to accomplish all they can accomplish, and there's no one better to do it than the team coaches. So we're still at a place where that works for us because we know what they need in routine, what they're striving for, because maybe they want to be in a section that their tech isn't quite ready for them to be in yet. Yep. And so there's no, it's very transparent. So they know what the expectation is, and they know that, hey, to move up in this tumbling class, it needs to be a routine tech ready, back handspring, routine tech ready tumbling. And so since we have our hands on all of it, we're able to help those kids grow faster because the continuity's there.
I love that. There's the skill, and then there's technique in the skill, and then there's routine technique ready. I love that.
Absolutely.
I really love that.
Well, and it's important to, I think oftentimes coaches lose sight that kids and parents, they want to level up. And like you just said, and level up, that doesn't always mean going from level 2 to level 3. But that does mean going from, hey, I'm not in the tumbling section to I'd like to be in the tumbling section, and I think that's important for coaches, for gym owners, for everybody to hear. If we're not pushing those kids or putting them in a position to where they can move up through the levels, why would they keep doing it? And that is not to get on my soapbox, but sometimes
Alex Casey loves to get on his soapbox.
I love to, really. But, I'm often critical of a score sheet that doesn't call for everyone to do certain things, and I get it. Not every kid can tumble or has the ability to, but I believe most everyone can do a toe touch, and that's the thing of, we just have these score sheets now where not everyone has to. And if you spend an entire year not doing skills at all and not training those skills, then that can be a big setback, and it's really going to, hamper the kids from being able to level up or be able to do more skills in the routine.
Absolutely agree.
How did you, what made you decide that you wanted to open a gym? Or I'm assuming you have a cheerleading background. Tell us how you got to that point.
When I started All-Star in middle school, I just absolutely fell in love with it. And it is what I did all the way through. I cheered through All-Star all the way through high school, moved on and cheered at Indiana University, and was on the all-girl team for 4 years, won 2 national championships as an athlete.
Nice.
When I graduated, my head coach hired me, and then I got to be an assistant coach for the team that I had just been on the previous 4 years.
Amazing.
So
that was
Julie.
So Tony and Julie.
Yes.
Yep. I used to do some work for Julie's sister, and did some choreography for them. So know them pretty well. Good folks.
Very cool.
So. That's awesome.
Also, one of our Stingray kids cheered at Indiana, and guess what her name was?
What?
Alex.
Oh my gosh, I know her. Yes. She came in the year I graduated, and I coached her.
Alex Johnson. Yeah.
Yes. She was roommates with my neighbor's daughter across the street.
Man,
it's such a small world.
Small world. So lesson learned on today's podcast. You never know where your circles may end up, right? So
you never know where there's going to be an Alex.
That's right.
There's lots of Alexes.
This
We're
is
all
true.
over the place.
This is true. That's cool. So you just decided in your community that you wanted to, dig in and start something on your own. And then, like Casey said, in the worst possible time of ever, basically, to do that, which is pretty awesome and super brave of you. So you are in season 5 now, right?
6.
Would that be season 6? Okay. Mm-hmm. And how many teams do you have? 11 teams. I am going to applaud you, sister.
Yeah, that's good work.
That is phenomenal. So you started with 18 kiddos and you have 11 teams. And how many, you may not have this number, which is totally fine, but how many kids in your tumbling classes approximately, roughly, or how many classes do you guys have?
We are in the low 30s of classes, including our jumps conditioning, strength and flexibility classes. We opened up our tumbling classes in January to prospective athletes. So we keep how we structure our tumbling program is I have a tumbling coordinator, and she's phenomenal because I didn't have enough brain waves to do all the team things and do all the tumbling things. And she has grown our tumbling offerings and given every opportunity to every kid through makeup classes, through anything that they need. So if there's something that they want to work on, they're in there working on it. And during the first part of the year, we zone in on those tumbling classes with program athletes only. And then we open them up again to people who are interested in the program later. So we really make sure that our kids are in the position that they want to be in because they committed to our program. And by the time choreography rolls around, they want to feel confident, hey, I've got this back handspring step out, 2 back handsprings with my feet together and my toes pointed and my head in and all of the things. So that cycle is supporting them the best we can. So
interesting that you say that because we had a philosophy within our gym of basically wanting our kids to win. And what we meant by that, it actually started out of school because when we first, 25 years ago, when we were getting cranked up, we were doing all-stars, but a lot of people came to us because they wanted to make their middle school team or their high school team. That was number one. So that was the big thing we said out of our class program. We want our kids to win the spot at the middle school tryouts or win the spot at the high school tryouts. But, I really like what you're explaining there because you have a culture of putting your kids and the kids on your team first and then bringing in the others, which then will ultimately become part of your culture. So pretty cool.
So how do you feel like, I know there's a lot of gym owners out there that are in your seat wearing all the hats. So how do you feel like you juggle all of that? If you were kind of talking to them, like how do you manage to do all of those things and do all of those things successfully?
You have to create your systems as you see the need for them. We obviously didn't have these systems when we had a handful of kids. And so as we've grown, we've really prided ourselves on finding better ways to do things. We have our things that we know work, and we stick with those. But the things that aren't perfect, or we look back and we say, hey, we could have handled that better, we are constantly in communication of how we're going to grow, because the kids deserve that and the parents deserve that. And so we have a lot of communication between our staff. We just care a lot. I know that sounds crazy, but there's no time, at any time during the day, that there's not a group chat or a coaches chat, hey, how are we going to do this better? Let's look at this. And having those support systems. My other head coach, who's been with me since literally the first week we decided we were going to do this, and my husband and I are 24 hours a day. How are we going to make this better? So when your systems are constantly evolving, it allows you to do more. So what I couldn't handle doing all the things last year, I can do more this year because I've done it. In theory, I've done it last year. And so we just continue to grow, make systems, find better ways to communicate. And my coaching staff allows me to, we've got 2 floors running at the same time. This has been the first year we've had 2 floors. So that was big for us. But Dave and JC are the owners of JPAC. And so JC Phelps, and they're our biggest supporters. So whenever we need it, we also have them to use as a resource of, hey, you're established, you've done this, how do we make this better? And so having that partnership with them has also helped us a lot.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
If I wasn't tied to my headphones and my computer, I would be jumping up and down right now in excitement, because you're speaking my language, systems and processes and communication. I am constantly, Casey will tell you, I am harping on those things constantly.
Stacy is a master, and I am a master at frustrating her, because I understand the importance of all of those things. And I remember early on, I often share this, but my accountant gave me some advice, and her advice was, surround yourself with people or hire people that do the things you're not good at. And I am not good at systems, but I understand the importance of them. So I've surrounded myself with people that are that way. But, when you sharing that about, with your head coach and you guys going back and forth 24/7, I mean, that took me back, to the early days in the business, and literally whatever problems we had during the day, we solved those most evenings at staff dinner. There were 6 of us, and we went to dinner
so true.
Literally every single night. We were locking the gym at 9:30 and
going
heading
to
up
dinner.
and going up to dinner, and we were there until midnight and solving all the problems of the day, and then trying to anticipate the next day's problems. So we didn't have systems, but we had communication, and that's actually been a big challenge as our company has aged, as we've had growth, because I am now a 55-year-old man, and I do not have the ability to go to dinner.
I was
midnight.
just about to say, I was like, those days were in the 20s, and maybe our systems didn't have to be as good because we had a little more energy to have those conversations at 9:30 at night. But I'm in the bed at 9:30 now.
Correct. Well, that, and I mean, we've been blessed with growth. So we have a lot of employees, and with a lot of employees, we have a lot of generations of employees, which I'm proud of, because we've got 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and then some old folks like me. But point being is, we can no longer all go to dinner, and solve the problems. So the systems have had to come into play so that those systems can catch issues and also be able to address them. But communication is key. So you guys are really doing it right and knocking it out of the park there.
I'm here to say that for you as a young, new gym owner, you already have that figured out. That's really, I'm sure, a large part of your success. So continue doing those things, and you're going to continue, moving along the right path. I feel like Gym ownership is like having children to some degree. It's when they're babies, you're like, oh, I just can't wait for them to walk and talk and like not have to change diapers. And you're constantly wanting to trade one thing in for the next, but you're only trading one problem. I don't want to say a problem, but you're only trading one thing in for another thing. And as they get older, it's all amazing and it's all different experiences. And it's the same thing with gym ownership, I feel like, in the beginning. And then like, as you get older, like Casey said, with the generational staff, like that was something I didn't deal with initially as a new gym owner. But now, we have staff ranging from 16 to 78 years old and everybody in between. And we have to manage those people, and that's not easy to do, and it's not easy for the 18-year-old to really want to like communicate with the 78-year-old,
and just the ways we communicate. Like I love a phone conversation. My own children can't talk on the phone. Like they only know
they want to text.
They want to text or send me a Snapchat. And I'm like, dude, can we just talk? And so those are all challenges. I think that's a good analogy. So it's like as your business grows and matures and continues, which yours is obviously doing great and thriving, but the challenges change, because I am a relationship person. I love relationships. I love people. I love building that, but that was a lot easier to do with 6 staff members than with 76 staff members. So, it changes, but those same principles are still really important to me that we're building those relationships, because I think that they are, absolutely what we have to have to have a great culture.
What's a piece of advice, Alex, that you would give to a gym owner that is juggling all the things? They are trying to manage all the things and maybe feels like they can't keep it all together. What's your biggest piece of advice there?
If you keep it all in your head and you don't talk to anybody about it, you're not going to be able to lay it out and figure it out. So something I used to do, and I still do to an extent, is I think about 100 things that need done or like people I need to talk to. But if I don't lay it out and see what I need to do, I can't find direction. So talk to people who believe in you, talk to people who you trust with that information. And it's never a bad thing to ask for help. There's a million people who have been through scenarios that want to help other people in this community. And the more we can connect with one another, the better we're all going to be. So like, while it's a competitive sport, we all have the same goals for kids. We want them to learn how to be successful young adults. We want them to be able to graduate and move on and do whatever they want to do. And if they want to come back and coach, even better. But we want to equip them with all those things. So we all have the same goals. So I think communicating with each other and reaching out, even though sometimes it's awkward and sometimes it's weird, there are people who've been in your shoes. And when we keep the kids at the heart of it, I think that it's made it, those connections and those relationships have made me a far better coach and director and owner and all the things, because without those things, figuring it out on your own isn't as effective.
Casey,
Alex,
I think
you are wise beyond your years.
I think that was a sales pitch for MotUS right there. I mean,
I agree.
God, she just nailed our mission right on the head.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. And that's a thing that's so hard to learn and so hard. So for our listeners and for everybody, like the best thing you can do in life is to ask for help. And then the second best thing you can do is once you receive that help, then pass the help on to someone else. And, I figured this out a couple of years ago. I figured it out with my own children. I've also figured it out with some of the coaches in our gym. And it's like, goodness, guys, we have all these resources. And I remember my oldest daughter, she hates when I tell this story, but like, she was cheering in college. She had all these resources, tutors, all of this. And I'm like, she was struggling with the class. I'm like, why aren't you using the tutors they provide for you? Well, her response was, well, I feel stupid if I have to use the tutor. And I was like, it's the opposite. You're stupid if you don't ask for the help. But so many people feel like that they're not doing their job, that they're not living up to their obligations, or that they're not good enough if they ask for help. And I've run into that with many of our staff of like, they feel like that, that they're not a good coach if they've got to go seek assistance from other people. And then, I'm always quick to look at other sports of like, look at these head football coaches. We love football here in the South. You guys love some football right now too. So
yes, we do.
But it's not one person. It's a team of coaches and a team of people, and they're constantly bringing in people and asking for help from all different avenues. So, man, I think you just nailed it. And like I said, you're preaching.
Wise.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to do a MotUS commercial later, but for anybody who's thinking about being a member of MotUS, basically everything that Alex just said is what we do. So join MotUS, that's it.
Absolutely. And all the systems, the vault with all the 300 or 400 documents of just exactly what she's talking about, because it's not my documents. It's not just Stacy's. It is all of our group, and everybody's sharing information. Because, one thing that Alex has talked a lot about is her community. And there is a local community aspect, but there's also the state community and the national community. And the reality is, if we're in the all-star business, we should be in it. Our number one reason is to serve the kids, and their families. But, we do that through communicating with others and making our business better so that we can offer a better experience for them. So pretty cool.
Absolutely. Love it.
So, Stace, is it time for my dad joke?
I think it might be time for the dad joke. What do you think, Alex?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Let's see if she can get it. Who knows?
Okay, looks like we have this one submitted from Andrew from North Carolina. Why is it so hard to catch a blacksmith? Why is it so hard to catch a blacksmith? Not too many blacksmiths around these days. That's probably one reason. So, anybody?
Oh.
Every time they get a chance, they make a bolt for the door.
That's a good one.
The dad jokes. The dad jokes were something that we couldn't let go from 2025 to 2026.
We had to hang on that. We changed the format. We had to keep the dad jokes. Couldn't get rid of those. So be sure, send us your favorite dad joke. We'll share them on the show and give you a shout out. You can submit them on our new website, MotUSEdge.com, or DM our social media at Join MotUS. And with that, we're going to tell you a little bit about MotUS.
Owning a gym doesn't have to feel like you're pushing the bus uphill alone. Join MotUS, a powerhouse community of gym owners who share, support, and grow together. Inside the MotUS Vault, you'll get ready-to-use templates, fresh resources, and exclusive industry discounts. Plus, your membership includes 2 seats at the MotUS Business Expo in Nashville every year. 2 full days of growth, leadership, and networking, included at no extra cost. Ready to level up your gym game? Join MotUS at joinmotus.com. That's JOINMOTUS.com. All right, Casey, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Well, we know they're not going to be rapid, as someone has brought that up. That because I have to jump in and interject and slow them down. So
yeah. Alex, Casey and I like to pick on each other a little bit, if you can't tell. And he always likes to discuss the rapid fire questions. That's the opposite of rapid. But okay, here we go.
I'm guilty of that too. I understand.
I'm a talker.
Hey, me too. You know what? As long as we're all having fun, it doesn't matter. So
exactly. All right, Alex, you ready for some not so rapid questions? Would you rather go skydiving or scuba diving?
Skydiving.
Have you done any skydiving?
No, I haven't done either.
My daughter, she did some skydiving. Amazingly enough, when she turned 18 one morning, I was up early and she just was like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "Skydiving." Literally, she drove herself out somewhere and did some skydiving by herself.
Both are terrifying to me. I don't know.
Agreed.
I think I'd rather scuba dive.
I think it's both are terrifying, but something about, hey, at least it'd be pretty.
It would. The views would be incredible. So the closest I've done is the parasailing, the thing behind the boat, the parachute. So,
yeah, I've never done that.
Me neither.
Well, as you see, these aren't rapid fire questions, but as you see those horrible ones where they come disconnected from the boat and fly off. So, yeah.
Yeah, see? And that's exactly why I wouldn't do it. I did zip line a couple, I don't know, 2 Thanksgivings ago. And there was, that was pretty high up in the air. And that was about the closest, most crazy thing I've ever done. There you go. People are laughing at me now.
All right. This question is going to be obvious if you're watching on YouTube, but most people listen. So are you a middle part or a side part girly?
I'm a millennial. I'm a side part girly. I tried.
I am a side part girly as well. Casey is a no part girly.
I am a no part. Like, I could part the hair on my ears, but not on my head. So. Do you prefer cardio or lifting weights?
Lifting weights. Main base for life.
I am a cardio guy, man. I love cardio. I love the endorphins of cardio. So
in my younger years, I was definitely a weightlifter, but as I've gotten older, I prefer the cardio. And by cardio, I mean walking.
I like my Peloton. So that counts, right?
Hey, you need to. Yeah, I need to get your Peloton. I do a little Peloton. I need to get your Peloton name. I'll follow you. So, all right, roller coaster or Ferris wheel?
Roller coaster for sure. I love them.
Same for me.
I agree. Ferris wheel's kind of boring. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I heard this question on your last podcast, and I thought about it and didn't come up with an answer because that's who I am. Too many options is not a good thing for me. I still don't have an answer.
There's a lot of historical. I understand this. I'm sitting here trying to think through my own.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. Is it like there's too many choices for you to pick just one, or is there no one in history that you would want to talk to?
There's too many choices, so then I think about people for opposite reasons, and then I can't pick one.
Well, who popped into your head first? You obviously talked yourself out of it, but
I did talk myself out of it.
Who popped into your head first?
Well, so we live in the cheerleading world, so I'm obviously thinking about athletes first, but then I'm like, oh, that's not necessarily a historical figure.
It could be. I mean, that's the thing, because I never met Herky. And as you say that, like, that would be pretty cool to meet Herky and then to have dinner with him and discuss, his thoughts of the early days of cheerleading. I think I saw him one time at an event, but never had a conversation. So
I wouldn't mind going back and having some Wheaties with Mary Lou Retton.
There you go. And, I jokingly, actually, what popped in my head first is, I get to talk to J.C. Phelps every single day. And, she is someone that I would no, she's obviously not a historical figure because she's very young and vibrant still. But, I just feel really blessed because I get to go and have those conversations whenever.
With her.
That's cool. Very cool. All right. We've got a question for you, Alex, from one of our listeners. Hi, this is Jordan from Pennsylvania. When you're someone who built a program from the ground up and still wears so many hats, how do you start thinking about the long-term future of the gym and what leadership might look like down the road?
I love this question. So this is where I've had to devote certain parts of my week to where I came from, where I'm at, and where we're going, so that I can think about all of those things, because if I try to think about it all at once, nothing happens. So we are short term, already through the majority of our hiring process for next season, to make sure we get the right type of people looking forward, who love our mission, who will know our kids before tryouts. And so that's how we're thinking forward. And those things like the staff building and training from within our own staff. Our staff are here and they're long-term, and a lot of them have many commitments into the program. And so the more that they feel comfortable taking the reins on things, the more that it opens me to be able to think forward. And so while I'm being in the director role, watching my two coaches coach whatever, my junior 2 medium, I'm able to be a director at that time, and I can go ahead and see forward, like, okay, I'm going to have more teams that are of larger sizes. How am I going to go ahead and facilitate what's coming? And so how do I train those coaches better? How do I prepare our schedule so I'll be able to be the third person on every single one of our teams that I don't already directly coach? So a lot of planning and a lot of praying and keeping the faith. The right people are going to come to us at the right time. And just continuing to be aware of the industry, where things are headed, be aware of our lobby. And I'm a big lobby person. We don't do the madness. We won't do it. So that reinforces from within, because our core values are on the mat, off the mat, at home, in the car, in the lobby, in the group chats, and all of the things. So the stronger those things build from within, the more I'm able to look forward and continue building what we're doing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you're, like I said, you're doing so many things that are just awesome. And I think back to my early days, and gosh, I think I was 10 years in before I had a vision of where we could go, because I didn't even really think about that, because I was working so much. And I know you're working a lot too, but you're also working smart, and you're trying to think about, hey, here's my plan next year. Here's, and now I do that 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, where are we going to be in 10 years? But I didn't start with that mindset. I didn't know. And gosh, we started so early. There was no handbook. There was really nobody to talk to, because we were all making it up. And heck, when we were first starting, everybody in town was enemies. Like, we were against each other. It's everybody's trying to win the competition instead of win at business and win with the kids. So, yeah, you're doing a lot of great things.
Thank you.
It's been cool getting to know you a little bit today. So
I agree. We're gonna be cheering. We're gonna be cheering for you, and watching all the things that your gym is doing. It's pretty awesome. In Indiana, not Iowa.
Thank you. Thank you. It's honest work. We just keep trying to do the right things all the time by every family and every kid, and we take care of each other. And usually the cheerleading will then take care of itself.
Absolutely. That is the thing. It took a lot of us a while to figure it out, but if you do the right thing, the wins come, and wins, not, I don't mean first place, but the community wins, and the wins with the kids and their families. So
it's really cool, Alex, too. Wait until they start to grow up, and then you have, you're watching them have their own babies, and their babies are coming to you, or you're just watching them do all the successful things that they do. Like, I had one athlete, I just saw a video of on her social media a couple weeks ago. It might have been a couple months ago now. All the days seem to run together, but she was in the military, and she won some award for her physical fitness and was doing all these awesome things. And there was these videos of her climbing these ropes up and down, and kind of like a boot camp type of situation. And I was like, you go, girl. Like, I'm so proud of you, for what you're doing. And anyway, it's fun to watch, like, all the things that they will do as they become adults, and knowing that you coach them when they were a kiddo at one point in time. So,
and you already mentioned that, but many of them are going to come back and coach for you, and that's a really cool part about our program. I mean, so many of our coaches now came up through our program. And, this dates me. I said I was an old man, but we are getting really close to having the third generation. Like, we have. That's
so cool.
We just graduated a handful of, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, a handful of kids that were second generation kids. And I'm like, it's not going to be long before we have the third generation in there, which is pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
That's pretty crazy, Casey. You are getting pretty old.
I know. And I don't even look it.
No, you still have that middle part.
That's right. Well,
we have a community win to share today. This is from an all-star program director. After listening to a MotUS Edge episode 5, it says, about leadership and communication, we realized most of our problems weren't actually problems. They were misunderstanding. We took your advice and created one clear communication system for our families instead of messages coming from everywhere. Within weeks, questions dwindled, parents were more informed, and our staff stopped feeling like they were constantly putting out fires. It was such a simple change, but it made our whole gym feel calmer and more organized. I'm so glad that I found that episode. How ironic too. We're talking about communication, and that was one of our first episodes. That was an oldie but a goodie, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So super exciting stuff. Let's see. We have a review today to share from Kelly B. She's a gym owner, ironically in Indiana.
Hey.
I love that the MotUS Edge podcast talks about the real side of running a cheer gym. It's not just about the wins on the mat. It's about leadership, tough decisions, and building something that lasts. Every episode feels like a conversation with people who truly understand this industry. And I always come away with at least one idea I can apply right away. Thanks, Kelly. That's super awesome.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
And very fitting today with Alex here.
Agree.
I'm so impressed, Alex.
I am too.
Doing the Lord's work. Doing the Lord's
Thank
work.
you.
You're doing good things for good people. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you for, having the courage to open a gym. I feel like people don't understand the courage that it takes to go out and do that and take that risk. And then, it's just so obvious the passion that you have just radiates from you. And I think that your Radiance name is so fitting for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great to see the passion. It's important that we have that. It's obviously, I feel like it's needed. And so it's awesome.
Alex, I love to talk shop, so I'll probably send you a Facebook message or something with my phone number because, man, I love to talk about anything gym business. And even though you're fairly new into this, I think I could learn a lot from you. So I'd love to connect even further after this. So
I would love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on today, Alex. You are a wonderful guest, and congratulations again on all of your accomplishments. And we will be rooting for you and watching from the sidelines all the amazing things that you're going to do. So thank you again so much. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the MotUS Edge. Check out our video shorts, like, and comment. We love to hear from you. Give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Join MotUS, or follow us on LinkedIn and TikTok at the MotUS Edge. Be sure to check out our fabulous new website, themotusedge.com. Follow our show wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you like what we're doing and you want to hear more, leave us a comment and tell all of your friends. And hey, if you're a gym owner, join the movement today and sign up for MotUS. Thank you all so much for listening. We're excited for you to have the MotUS Edge.
Thank you for listening to the MotUS Edge. We hope you had a blast. Join us next week for more on business, leadership, and motivation. Subscribe and follow the show where you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our newsletter at joinmotus.com. The MotUS Edge podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.